Well, I have officially been slacking on recording my tank and updating you guys on what I am doing with all of the exciting changes, but there is a ton of stuff going on. For one, I fragged my first frags, and for number two, we have the Fragoon. This is my new frag tank. As you can see, it has been cycled and there are some corals in there. It shows up super blue on camera. But yeah, so far so good. I got this tank off of Facebook Marketplace for $100. This is the filtration system. I had to cover up the sump holes with pieces of acrylic using the Aquanite light from Amazon, which is on sale right now for the Prime days. So far so good though. I am gonna get some clownfish for this tank in the next day or two. I'm thinking of getting a nearly naked clownfish. That is the one they have in the store. I'm probably also just gonna get a generic Nemo because I have very cool designer clownfish in here. Now, the other very cool thing is you're probably wondering, why would you get a frag tank? Especially if there's no fish in there. You know, if none of the things in here are really outgrowing too much. Well, I have been going crazy on the frag rack. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eagle eye zoanthid frags. Now, these first 3 have already been fragged. They've healed. They're already doing good. They're starting to grow. Those second 2 back there, I actually did last night on a hinge. They'll grow up and they'll look great. The eagle eye spot has completely covered back up. And also, I fragged a couple Euphyllia. Starting off with the smallest Euphyllia you've probably ever seen. This is a purple hammer coral. And if you remember right, it was right under this one. And this one has started growing too much. It started shading it, so I decided just to snap it off and glue it to a little frag pull-up. A couple other Euphyllias I fragged was this super tiny purple tip frog spawn. Now, it has been growing decently. I took it off of this big mother colony up here, which could be fragged again, but I'm gonna leave it the way it is. And I think eventually I'm gonna move this back over here. And then the other coral I fragged was this orange frog spawn. It looks a little small. Why? Because, well, the other half is over here, absolutely filling in the space. So the tank is looking good. You know, I've switched off of Alpha Reef. I actually ran out of it for a week. I didn't dose it, and I got more polyp extension. So I went into the LFS down at Southwest Reef, and they gave me some great tips on the A-B dosing. Kind of told me everything that I needed to know that I wasn't really understanding off of the YouTube videos. So I've been just working on my dosing, trying to get polyp extension, and things are looking pretty decent. You can see my red frog spawn here is actually getting its color back and it's flowering up, which it hasn't done in a very long time. It's been kind of struggling for a few years now. I've had this coral. It's the oldest coral in the tank, one of the oldest corals in the tank, and it has grown the least. But other than that, we're getting some serious growth. I'm getting a few corals to come back to life. This guy was really struggling, but now he's looking a little better. And then this guy was struggling a little bit, but he is looking a little better now. But overall, the worst struggling coral is my Goniopora. It doesn't even look like a Goniopora right now, and that's because I didn't even notice it fell off of the frag plug, and it was upside down here for like 2 days. I was like, oh shit. Picked it up. I moved it up to the frag rack, where I guess it just wasn't getting enough light. So I moved it back over here. We're starting to get a little bit of polyp extension back on it. I really hope it'll come back and start getting coloration. I think it will. But other than that, the tank is looking great. I did recently just feed it. That's why some of the corals are a little puffed up, have their feeder tentacles out. One of the things that is struggling is this mushroom coral. I'm not really too familiar with mushroom corals. This is the first one that I've had. Kind of put it in the corner in the low light, low flow spot like everybody says, but I might have to move it to a different spot. But the GSP wall is growing, the frags are growing, and I'm getting really into the fragging aspect of this thing. Having a great time, starting to get some coloration on these. I don't know if they're Zoas or Pallies, but they used to look like this. Very generic, dry. I put them in a very high spot, or in a very high light spot, and they're getting some awesome gold coloration to them, which is pretty cool. Corals continue to surprise me, but that is pretty much all that is going on with the tank. I'm fragging everything. Everything is looking great. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. As far as the fish, all the fish are healthy. They're extremely fat. My bullet goby started eating pellet food, so he's starting to get his nutrients and he's starting to look good. He's getting coloration. They're supposed to get a little yellow spot behind their gills. He's working on it. He'll get there once he gets a little healthier. My tank obviously is doing well. No issues there. And the clownfish, I have actually finally begun to notice that they are pairing up. They've always been kind of paired up, but now the black one is significantly larger than the orange finned one, which means that they have established dominance. They are beginning to create little nests. They mostly hang out in the corners of the tank. I don't have an anemone. I don't plan on getting an anemone, because obviously I have way too many very cool corals to just throw an anemone in here. And my clownfish are apparently sophisticated. They decide not to host anything. None of these branching corals. You know, other clownfish you see hosting anything. These guys, not so much. I've started feeding polylab reefroids to the tank around every other day. Every day if I have the time. And what I have noticed is some amazing coloration. I mean, these whole acans are absolutely getting their color back. You can see which ones are still kind of dry and which ones are absolutely vibrant green. We have my button scully, who is getting a little bit of its green coloration in, kind of like a bleeding apple scully. We'll see if I can dial that in to get as much of that out as I can. And my Florida Recordia, I've been feeding, trying to get this coloration out. I'm still not too sure what the coloration is. It's still coming out. Colors are changing like every day, so some days it'll look really cool. Some days it'll look more green or just purple, but we'll see. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna get some more clownfish, and all of these beautiful frags will hopefully move over here, where in theory they absolutely thrive and survive. Right now I have 2 Xenia frags in it. Why? Because Xenia is very easy and I have 1 GSP frag in it. The reason I have these 2 corals is 1, they're the hardiest corals anybody could ever think of, and 2, the Xenia will create flow for itself and kind of clean itself off of detritus, and you know, based off of the stem extension, I can tell how healthy the coral is. So the coral it's not the healthiest right now because there's no stem extension, even though it's right under direct light, but it is attaching, which is a good sign. And the reason I know it's not very healthy is because if I pan over to the GSP over here, try to get a good shot, there is a little bit of algae overrunning it, and since it doesn't create its own flow, and it's more of just a, stationary coral, or it's not cleaning itself as well as Xenia. So once it starts cleaning itself well, then I know I can add in some of my more high dollar corals like this eagle isoanthid, and eventually things like my tiny Euphilia frags that I have made. I'm gonna start getting real into dosing and bringing the coloration out. Right now it is very vibrant. The coral were not this vibrant at all a couple weeks ago, which has inspired me to just start going for growth for very, very long. All I had focused on was keeping the fish alive, keeping the coral alive, making sure everything is just staying alive. Now I want to focus on keeping it healthy. But anyways, that is going to be about it for the video. Just a quick little update explaining all of the changes, all of the growth, all of the new things I'm getting into the tank, all of the exciting new projects that I have. And we'll see where everything goes. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, even subscribe. Please subscribe. And have a great rest of your day, and I hope your tanks stay clean. Peace!